most of the people, here again I am using the same expression, 99.9 recurrent percent of people in this world have always been, are today, and will ever be followers. They follow. They don't question. They don't criticize. They don't demand arguments. But there have always been and will always be, although in minority, a microscopic minority, some people who question, why should I believe this? How come? How do you believe these things? So these people, you may call them, the intellectuals, although they are a microscopic minority. Actually, they are the pacemakers. They strive to get the truth for themselves, to have the knowledge for themselves. They make research, then they argue, they make a comparative study. Then whatever they accept, it is usually followed by others. Let me give you 2 examples, rather 3 examples. And let me start from the East. Imagine, who was Siddhartha Gautama Buddha, a prince, and living in a palace, brought up in a palace. He was the would-be king of that kingdom. That was quite a big kingdom. But that was a person of that time. He started thinking, what we believe, is it correct? Especially, why is there suffering in this world? He saw a blind man who was born blind. What was his fault? Why he was born blind? And he saw, an infant dying, and the parents standing by the side of that infant. Can't do anything. They know our beloved child is going, but they can't do anything. All this suffering, can there be any salvation? Can man be saved from this suffering? So that was the starting point of his inquiry into the reality and truth. What are the basic truths of this universe? So that was the reason why he left his palace. At the prime of his youth, he was 30 years old, married, left wife sleeping, and an infant son was also sleeping by the side of the mother. All the things, which a person loves in this world, the comforts and luxuries of the palace, a young wife, and now an infant son also, left everything, went out into the wilderness. This is the word of the Bible, a cry from the wilderness. It is used for Hazrat Yahya alayhi salatu wassalam. So he went into wilderness. And how many years, For about 40 years, he kept roaming about to this rishi and to this muni and to this learned person and to this person. Now I don't know exactly the conclusions which he reached, and we can't say, because there are different sects of the Buddhists, and all of them, ascribe different things to Buddha. And because he belongs to an era before Christ, so it's very difficult, and that his teachings are, preserved. So I only wanted to give an example. There have been people who want to know the things for themselves, to have a direct knowledge of the basic truths of this universe, and they can sacrifice everything for that. The comforts of a palace, the luxuries of a palace, the would-be, the future, that he would be the king or the ruler of that kingdom. But he gave up everything to have the knowledge of the reality. Now let me give to the West. It's a well-known fact, you must be knowing. What happened to Socrates? Socrates. He was a thinker, a philosopher. He didn't accept what the society believed. He thought himself, he pondered over those things himself. He argued with himself. Then he reached certain conclusions. And then he started preaching. This is what I believe. To me, it appears it is like that, not according to what you believe. So there was, a controversy in the society. And then the society reacted. He was, he had to appear in a court. And the verdict of the court was, we can allow you to believe in anything you like, but we can't allow you to preach. We can't give you the freedom to challenge our beliefs and our, ideas. You can keep your idea to yourself. You have to keep your mouth shut if you want to live. And if you can't keep your mouth shut, then this is the cup of the poison. You have to take it here and now. And you know what was the decision? He said, I can't live without saying what I believe, without preaching to others the knowledge that has come to me. I can't live. Life is meaningless. So I prefer to take this cup of poison. He took it there and then, died. Now let me come to the third example, and this is from the Middle East. Who was Salman Farsi? Radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He was born in Iran, and the people worshipped fire. And he was born in the house of a priest, just like Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. He was born to Azar. And Azar, you know, he was a priest. He used to make idols. The same was the case here. A custodian of a place of worship, Hazrat Salman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, was born to him. But then he said to himself, it is ridiculous. We burn this fire, we add fuel to it, we light this fire. If we don't add fuel to it, it can't continue burning. And then we stand, folded hands before this fire, and you ask the blessings from this fire. It's ridiculous. I'm not ready to accept it. What was the fate? He had to leave his home and heart. Just as the father of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam said to him, Araghibun anta an alihati ya Ibrahim? La illam tantahi la arjumannaka wahjurni maliya. This is in Surah Maryam alayhi salam. Are you leaving my gods? The gods whom I worship? You don't want to worship them? No, I will stone you to death if you, don't change your attitude, or you have to leave this house. Go away from my sight. Wahjurni maliya. The same fate happened and occurred to Hazrat Salman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He left his home and heart, even his country, just as Ibrahim, migrated from Iraq to Syria. He had to migrate again from Iran to Syria. What a similarity between the life of Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam and Hazrat Salman from Iran, Salman Farsi radiyallahu ta'ala. He also migrated to Syria. That was the seat of learning. He became Christian, and Christianity was the deen of Islam of that day. Because before the advent of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it was the era of the prophethood and messengerhood of Hazrat Masih alayhi salatu wasalam. So he became a Muslim, so to say. So he accepted Christianity. And he was under the training and teaching of so many rahibs, knowledgeable persons, Christians. But the last one with whom he was getting knowledge, when he was on his deathbed, Salman said to him, well, my thirst of knowledge has not been quenched up till now. Now you are also dying. Where do I go after you? And then that rahib, he said, my knowledge tells me that the time of the appearance of the last prophet has come near. And he will appear towards the south.